Welcome to the next episode of Discipline, Desire, Dedication. My name is Dakota Lang, along co-host Garrett Cotton. Today we're speaking with James Edwards. He's a guy who's been in the door-to-door industry for roughly 15 years now. So we'll be able to dive into his story on pretty much how he started from an actual sales rep all the way to being to the president of sales. So welcome, James.
Hey, I appreciate having me on. Thank you.
Absolutely, man. Well, a lot of our listeners, we bring different door-to-door guys on. But if you could just kind of introduce yourself, maybe a little bit of backstory on who you are, where you're from, and ultimately how we got here today.
Yeah. So I started, 15 years ago. I served an LDS mission. I served in DC. I came back. A friend of mine introduced me to a sales manager, and he's like, "Hey, come out and do door-to-door sales." I was never the rich kid. So I never had more than 4 digits in my bank account. Yeah. So when I started seeing some of these like young 20-year-olds, 21-year-olds, 20-year-olds that have like 20, 30, $40,000 they made in a summer, it blew my mind. So I'm not very smart, but I do feel like I work hard. And from my like background history, like I went to school here in Utah, but in the summers, half of my family, my mom's side of the family, they're all farmers up in Central Washington. And so all the boy cousins got shipped up there during the summer to go work on the farm. So like, I feel like I know how to work really hard. And so as soon as I saw that, I was like, you can make that money and be that young. Because in my mind, it was always that concept of, okay, you have to, be broke and eat ramen noodles, which is okay. And, go to college. But I thought that was like this, you had to do it. It was a mandatory task.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I had people I was meeting. They're like, "Oh, I'm going to college and I'm driving a Range Rover." I'm like, "How does that work? You a trust fund kid?" He's like, "No, I do summer sales." Like, well, you're an idiot. If you could do it, I can do it. I want to do that. And so they got me like that.
Yeah.
And we were able to go. And then from there, it's 15 years later, here we are.
So was door-to-door sales something that you ran across the opportunity one day and it kind of opened that up, or was it something that you grew up and you were seeing?
No, I mean, being in Utah, you've got the MLMs. Like
Right.
this is the birthplace of it. Like
Yeah,
they breed people knock doors here.
Yeah, we're being from Louisiana. When we got the call, it was like door to door, like because we live in the sticks. Like if somebody's coming to our house, like they have to be coming to talk to us specifically.
That's right.
Like it was just
You don't know the car. You're like, "Hey, grab the gun real quick."
right. Yeah, and so coming to Utah, that was definitely mind blowing to see that that is what everything is here.
No, I mean, there's so many companies, all the juggernauts, like you got Vivint, you have Aptiv, you have a lot of huge companies that are still here in Utah, but a lot of big companies started in Utah. And just door to door is there's a lot of weight that comes around here. So growing up, I got to see the door to door industry grow and change. And I was always the guy like, I'm never going to knock doors. Like I ain't doing any of that stuff. And I just didn't know anything about it. I was ignorant to the fact of like what the opportunity actually was.
Right. So did you ever go to college?
Yeah. So I went 2 years of college here in Utah, and then I dropped out. And so I don't have a degree. And that was a big thing because growing up, like my mom, she helped start the transplant program for the kidney, heart, and liver at the University of Utah. And so they've got a bunch of different facilities that they work through. And so I had my whole life, I was the kid that was doing like anatomy flashcards when I was little. Like I was supposed to go like medicine. And like 90% of students, collegiate students now, they're all like, "Oh, I'm pre-med." Like everybody's pre-med. You know what I mean? So it's like not special until you get into medical school. And then you have to pass that and then go through your rotations. But that was my whole plan. I wanted to be a doctor. And then all of a sudden my manager or my friends are like, well, hold on. You can make as much as doctors and not have $500,000 of debt. And I was like, I kind of like that idea. And I feel like I'm a pretty good personable person. Like I love people. I'm a devout optimist. I'm like, I can go do sales. I'm good at sales. Let me do that. And so I started it, and then eventually I just started breaking away. But what I learned is that the degree that I was so insecure for not getting doesn't define the results in which I can produce. So I might not have a degree, but I have a doctorate in results. And over the last 15 years, I've proven that. So if you put me in a room of an Ivy League guy and it's me versus him, when it comes to the job, I'll kick his ass just because I know how to go to a company, understand the bottom lines, understand where the weak points are, and understand how to make profit for that company. I'm really good at it.
Yeah, I would absolutely, and that's one thing that I always think, because we grew up the similar way, right? That's actually how me and him met. We're in college, so where we're from, that's like the route that everybody wants you to go. Go get your degree. That's the successful route, and I think that's one thing that a lot of people don't, because whenever you present them, especially where we're from, nobody knows of door to door. Honestly, now we're kind of the staple of that through our hometown of like when they hear door to door,
They know you guys.
They know us.
Dakota
right?
and Garrett, get on it. Cotton. They
Yeah.
still call it Cotton, right? Dakota and
Everybody.
Cotton.
Yep.
Literally.
And I think that that's one of the biggest things. Instead of falling in that, and I'm writing about that in the book of Built Different right now, of, you know, the route that you're supposed to go is the college route. But at the same time, like, you have to change your trajectory of what do you want out of life. You know, if you want more out of life and bet on yourself, then door-to-door sales is honestly the best career that you could possibly get into.
Truly. Well, I mean, the hard part is, and I was actually just talking to somebody about this, because like, hey, I'm having a hard time recruiting. What would I do? What do I do? I keep running into people who have a base plus commission. And I'm like, here's the thing about people. People, it's like water. They go to the path of least resistance. Water, you see rivers and it's never a straight path. Why? Why do you think a river is? Because they always want to go, like if you got a big boulder, just go around the boulder.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So people do the same thing. They resist change, but there's no growth in the comfort zone and there's no comfort in the growth zone. You either got to decide. It's one or the other. It's black and white. So when you're dealing with somebody on the recruiting side, and they're like, oh, well, I've got, base plus commission, best of both worlds. Maybe. If I want someone who wants a steady, like hourly job, salary job, I'm like, what they're actually saying is, hey, I don't know if what I can do can provide as much security as what this job can do.
Yep.
And I'll always tell them is like, hey, if you want security, go to prison. There's plenty of that there.
That's right.
You know what I mean? And so for me though, I don't want there to be a glass ceiling on what I can choose to do and how much my time is worth. If someone were to come to you guys and say, hey, I want to purchase just an hour of your time. Let me buy an hour of your time, right? What would you sell an hour of your time for? Just like, hey, I want, what is it? 12:30 now? It's like from 12:30 to 1:30. Like, let me decide. We can go do whatever. Like, go grab my coffee. How much would you sell me an hour of your time, Dakota?
I'd probably tell you $500.
$500. That's great. That's pretty valuable.
Yep.
Okay. What if it was the last 12 hours of your life?
Ooh, yeah. A lot more.
So time and money are not synonymous, but people think it is. So what I do as a recruiter, what I do working with people is like, okay, you want an average job. I call any like salary job. I mean, it's good, right? You can get a salary job that pays you $1 million a year. That's pretty hard to get. But if you can get it, that means you provide that much value. There's a lot that goes into it. But if I can get someone just a base, and we don't run into those type of people all the time, especially kids in college, like good luck. If you go get $40,000, $50,000, $70,000 job, it's like, oh, you're middle of the track, maybe a little upper echelon. But if I could go and be like, all right, let's just break down what that would be per hour. You're going to let someone tell you what you're worth per hour and put a lid on it. And then say, great, you don't know what next hour is going to be. You could be hit by a car. Yep. But I know that if I control my destiny, if I can control what I'm worth, I think I'd bet on myself more than anybody else. I don't want someone else to put a value on me. I want to put the value on me. So that's what I love about the 1099 door-to-door sales is we have an untapped and there's an unbridled potential that we could get into on success. They just have to believe it. And you as leaders, you guys got to be able to convince them and sit down with them and say, follow me and I will show you how to be invaluable.
Yeah. Well, that's another point that I want to go up because obviously you started as a sales rep and worked your way up all the way up to the president, right? So, what would you say is the difference between somebody who scales with a company compared to somebody who doesn't?
One of the biggest things that I've seen in the door-to-door community, and it's not even just the door-to-door, it's anything, and I didn't realize it, but everybody talks like you got to work hard for success. Like you're going to advance in life because, you work hard. And to be honest, that's part true. No, but what I've noticed is that your cohorts, or the people that are with you, like the people that you work with, if you can outlast them, you're supposed to be on the same team. If you can outlast them, you'll have better opportunities long-term than they do. So it's mostly just about perseverance. Like I was never the guy and I've had awesome leaders. So like at Alder, where our security company was, I've been with them for 13 years. In the door-to-door space, that's hard to do. And I still like working with the people I work with. And so like Adam Shantz is the CEO there. He's a legend in the door-to-door space. He's like our Michael Jordan plus 10, like where in alarms, if you go sell 20 in a week, you're awesome. 30, 40 in a week, like you're incredible. And he sells like his best week. I just saw him go out and go do it. It was 252. Like he is head and shoulders. It doesn't matter the product. He'll be the best.
Yeah, he's the king.
He's incredible, but he's been able to teach and say, okay, come with me and I'll teach you my skills, teach you what I do. And he's passionate about what he does. And I believe in a lot of his product, his pitch, his passion, his life, and how he lives it. And he's shared that with so many.
I think it is a big point though of like bringing people to the top with you, invest in your people. I think that's why like in our system of recruiting, we see so much success because for one, we're plucking them from their hometown. We eliminate all distractions. We're creating a better setting where for 60 days, we're building this vision of ownership, coming in and no longer working like that employee mindset, because a lot of the people that we pull are coming from that, W-2 job. Yeah. And so now it's 60 days and I've got 60 days to get this person to trust me that it's going to work out.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause you guys have it where they live with you.
Literally. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's wild. I mean, that is talk about complete injection, a complete adoption of culture.
It almost changes the idea of it of it's not even my failure. This person's success relies on me. Like I've got to show them how to do it correctly. So it's like almost I can't let them down.
Oh, we love it. Skin in the game.
Yeah.
I love my managers have the same mentality, the same mindset. It's like, what is your skin in the game? Like, how are you going to do it? But part of that, like it's the perseverance. Like when I was going up in the ranks, it wasn't because I was qualified for the position. It's because I was maybe like 60 or 80% there. And I had a leader like Adam that say, okay, I'm putting you in this next position. I wasn't 100%. I was a little bit over my tips. Like in Utah, we have this phrase is, if you're over your tips, you're over your ski tips, you'll fall forward, you'll do a crash. You're over your tips a little bit in business, but that's okay. Like it goes back to the phrase, like there's no comfort in the growth zone and there's no growth in the comfort zone. So it's like, you got to choose your uncomfortability.
Mm-hmm. Part of me so in the 15 years as well. So one of the big appealing factors for me that keeps me here is there's so much potential for growth, right? You can continue to progress in a company. If the company's growing, there's more opportunity for you. With being 15 years in a company, would you say, was there much stagnation in any positions? Were there any places where you started to, maybe teeter on the fence a little bit about if this was right or not?
Well, I mean, of course, because it was like I was getting bored. I didn't just want to be a good rep. Like I wanted to manage guys because I saw what the potential came from and I wanted the responsibility. I didn't want to just be a manager. Like I wanted to manage teams. So I want to be a regional. And then I didn't just want to be a regional. Like I wanted to be in the boardroom, like making decisions. I want to be a vice president, a VP. Like I wanted to be important enough to like dictate how the ship was steering. And then I didn't just want to be a VP. Like I wanted to steer the ship. I don't want to give the advice of the captain. I want to be the captain. So I went from a representative to the highest position I could ever go besides being CEO as a president of sales and being able to dictate where it goes. Like I can't tell you how invaluable that education was. And something I could never learn sitting down in the classroom. You know what I mean? It's like, there's an old phrase that says, don't let school, I'm going to say this and I want to preface this because I still think going to school, like getting education is a big deal, but sometimes people let it become as a hindrance. They just do it to go through the motions. If you're going to go to school, be passionate about school, like be passionate about what you're doing, but don't let school get in the way of your education. So there's a ton of education that can go, that you can glean from experience. And that's the best one.
On the doors, you learn on the doors.
Well, I want to go back to the education standpoint because I think a lot of people it goes back to the college thing. I think education is so broad. It's just what are you passionate about? You know what I mean? If you just go to college for the experience, obviously you're not going to come out with nothing besides a piece of paper. If you can find whatever makes you uncomfortable is where your growth is going to be, like you said. So I think one thing that we always run into, and maybe we can get your opinion on it. So we have people that we recruit, obviously we've built a big downline, but still in the position that we are in, we still run into the same objection. I got family, you know what I mean? Or
they got to pay their bills before they can come do the job,
Yeah, exactly. What would be your thoughts on that?
Everybody wants to be comfortable being uncomfortable. You know what I mean? But there's a difference. People find uncomfortability and learn to be comfortable in it. Then there's others that want to be comfortable as they go into the uncomfortability. So there's a different mentality on this and you have to be careful about it because people are like, take care of all my stuff so that I can then go try your thing. It's like, no. That's not how this works. You bet on yourself. Burn your ships.
We're not making the sacrifices for them. They need to make the sacrifice.
Lead the horse to water.
Yep.
Let them drink though. Teach him, like throw him in the den of wolves. See what happens. It's like, hey, come knock doors with me. He's like, I'm not going to make you watch me for 2 weeks and like, see if you like it. It's like, all right, come here, come with me for an hour. Go try, go fall on your face. I can't tell you how many through the years, even as a president of sales, when I go out and travel and visit offices, I had this happen to me once and it drove me crazy. But I had an executive, I was managing a team and he came and visited our office and he's like, they go through and I'm like, hey, would you mind knocking with, these are some of my top rookies. I really want them to get an experience. You're really, really good on the doors. Would you mind knocking with them? And he's like, oh no, sorry, I don't do that anymore.
Really?
And at that moment was a defining moment in my career. I'm like, if I ever get to that position, I will never let those words leave my mouth.
Yep.
Ever.
You can't be in the industry and say it.
No. Even as like an executive, C-level position, I'm like, I was blown away. So now as a president of sales, I was dedicated to that commitment, that statement, that declaration of, when I go to my offices, I always knock. I do all my trainings on the door. So I'm like, hey, come with me. I might knock with 4 dudes in a day because it was like, all right, we're going to go till we get a deal and then I'm going to go to the next guy. But they're on my hip. When I was managing guys, it's like, hey, come with me. Come here, little bird. Get under my wing. I'm going to show you how to fly. I'll show you this. But as soon as we take off, I'm kicking you out. You go soar. I want you to learn because guys will come and watch me like, oh my gosh, it's amazing. I'm like, great, repeat what I said to you. And they're like, bleh, and they just stand. They can't repeat it. But if I tell a guy, go knock a door for a couple days, go out and get in the area, go knock those doors, and then come back and let's do some training, he's always better.
Yep. I've seen knockers go out and have 200 combos in a day to learn how to be comfortable on the door.
That's the best way. Throw it in them.
He didn't even
throw
do
them in the
no
tank.
script at all. He was knocking doors. Hey, beautiful day outside. You know, like he'd have Carter. He had a whole day. Not a single script was given, but he said, I talked to 200 people today, and then he got the hang of it.
Tell me how that guy's doing right now.
Well, he became a closer, worked his way up to the company, and then ended up going to a different company. He struggled with the consistency aspect.
I got it. No, that's the thing. It's like you as you build and grow, as you get uncomfortable, you realize there's other uncomfortability things that come in the way. You have to learn how to adapt. It's just cogs and levers. You're pulling a lever, something changes, twisting a dial, going here. Like you're having to change yourself. And then all of a sudden that internal thermostat of what you're used to, it's starting to rise, it's starting to go up. It's starting to get better, right? You're starting to be able to handle more. You're starting to be able to do more and take on more. And at 12 months from now, you look back at where you are and you're like, wait a minute, that used to stress me out? Good night.
Yeah, you're probably pretty similar to 15 years. I mean, the door-to-door space is a fast-moving industry. Like and for alarms, I'm assuming, is it only summer sales?
No. I've got year-round teams.
Okay, that's what I thought as well. So we do year-round. So like with year-round, it's people ask me like, man, how did you do this when you were a market owner? But like you said, head down for 15 months of being a market owner. It's almost like I didn't have time to breathe. It was just everyday grind. And you look up and you've learned so much in that process. 15 years for you, I'm sure it's probably been a blur.
What's crazy is we have this phrase, it's days feel like weeks and weeks feel like days. Like you're in there and sometimes you're on, like it's 4:00 in the afternoon. You're like, I have 6 more hours of this bullshit. Like, you know what I mean? You're looking, I was like, I can't believe, and you're dreading it. And then all of a sudden you get to Saturday and you're like, what the heck happened to the week?
Where was it?
What happened?
So
and then
March,
every year you do this, all my veterans, the same thing. It's like, holy cow, that was the fastest summer I've ever experienced. It just goes faster and faster and faster.
The years are flying by now.
Yeah, they're flying by. And so one thing it teaches me all the time, and a big lesson I teach all the time when I'm visiting offices is, guys, you're only gonna have 2 emotions when you end the summer. You're gonna have one where you look back and you're like, oh my gosh, I am so glad it's over. And then it's gonna be done, and you're gonna look back and your bank account's gonna be low, and because you didn't give your all, and you're gonna be like, you know what, I probably should have. Knocking doors isn't that bad. Like I could have and you cheapen the meal because you cut the corners. Or you're going to go and be done with the summer and you want to look in the rear view mirror and watch your area shrink, whether it's the summer, whatever, if you're running a summer program. And I remember just visualizing this, but watching my area shrink in the rear view mirror and me looking back and saying, I am exhausted, but I knew I gave everything and I have no regrets.
Yeah. Nothing left in the tank.
And no, you leave it all out. But the thing is that whether you were successful financially or not, you'll be successful mentally. Your education, your resume will increase because you gave it your all.
And we even preach that same stuff. It's the simple term of hard work pays off. Yeah. I may not see the results today or this week or this month, but I know if I give my all every day that I go out there, make every conversation count, eventually by being in this room, I'm in the right place. Yeah. The results are going to come,
Well, and I think as managers, if anybody's like those managers that are watching this, any reps or anything, like one thing I think I have made abundantly clear throughout my career is I wanted to make the process simple. I wanted it so people, when they followed me, when they listened to me, they're like, oh, I can understand, I can emulate, and I can repeat, I could copy what James is saying.
Yep.
Now there's 100 ways to skin this cat, but this is what works for me, right? And so every time I ran my office, everyone that's worked for me knows this rule.
There's 3 things.
There's 3 rules. This is like the doctrine of James. Like if you're in my office, you obey these rules. I will never fire you if you can obey these rules. You could sell nothing, and I will pay to keep you in my organization because I can teach you to sell. I can't teach you hard work.
That's right.
But rule number 1 is you work all the hours. I don't care if you have 2 hours or 10 hours of the day. If you get out late, it doesn't matter. The hours you're on the door, you work. No on Instagram. Don't go to the park. Don't go swinging. Don't twiddle your thumbs. Whatever it is, go work. If you're with grandma, sit with grandma. If you're on a date, get on the date. If you're talking with somebody, if you're in a business, if you're doing anything, work the hours. Number 2 is have an amazing attitude. Be happy, work all the hours, have a good attitude, right? And then just because you can control that. And number 3, have a crazy amount of passion, have a crazy amount of confidence. So I would get guys that would jump in from the end of the day and I'd be managing my teams, or if I was out visiting and whatnot, they're like, oh, James, I'm so sorry. I know our goal today was this. I didn't sell anything today.
Yeah.
I'm like, awesome. What's the rule? Did you work all the hours? Yeah, I worked all the hours. Did you have a good attitude? Yeah, my attitude was awesome all day. Did you have a ton of passion, ton of confidence? Yeah, I crushed today. I was like, we're going to dinner. I got you, dude. I got you. I cannot teach you how to work hard. I can teach you how to sell. I'm really good at teaching it. But as you stick with me with that attitude, you obey my laws, you will have success. And it's awesome. Now, I had other guys that did jump in the car and be like, hey, did you work all the hours? Yes, but, and it's always the yes, but. I had to reset my mind. Okay, would you have a good attitude? Well, I did until this dude came out and he started chewing me out and doing these things. Like, you let somebody else dictate your attitude?
Exactly.
It's like, okay, do you have a ton of passion? It's like, well, I mean, after that guy chewed me out, I was kind of down. So I went and grabbed a Snickers. I sat down, I had a Gatorade. I'm like, bro, what are you doing?
All momentum lost.
It's like, you have a million doors in front of you. Like, what are you doing? Like, go knock the next door. The next door has no idea what happened at this door. Reset, change, door amnesia. Forget about it. Get to the next one and start to rebuild your experience. Don't cheapen the meal. So those 3 laws were gospel.
Yeah.
If you could do that.
It's very replicable to what we do at Performance Windows. We call them the 3 keys to success. Stay on script, 50 combos a day, and your swag. It's like the 3 mindset.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Right. So the script, you control the words you say. If you're going on the door and you're talking about where are you from and how long you've been in town and, all this that's not script, So we'll go through one by one. Were you on script today? And they're like, oh, I mean, mostly. Well, look, fix your script. You can't have the success if we're selling cheeseburgers, you're selling chicken sandwiches.
That's right.
I'm like, dude, it's not the same.
That's hilarious.
And so, but then the combo count. I'm like, well, dude, you gave yourself a sample size of 30 combos. That's not the formula. Mm-hmm. Formulas don't lie. So, I love that you say that though, but it gives us a different perspective too. And that swagger is your desire to be out there. Were you being intentional on every combo that you had, or were you, going through motions because it's so easy to do in this job?
Well, and here's a pitfall that a lot of managers get into. They learn to manage people, not processes.
Right.
So with my laws, what I've been able to do to teach my managers as well is, guys, you don't need to manage the individual. They're always going to come to you. If they had a great day, you guys as managers know this, they had a great day, they want to tell you every detail about it.
They call you on the way home.
That's right. When they had a crappy day, what do they want to do? They want to tell you all about it. They're like, hey, this is what happened. This sucks. I'm not going to do this anymore. I need more money. I need that. And they want to tell you all their problems. And then they're like, oh, they try to give all the excuses and justifications why they can't do anything, right? Anywhere you go as a manager, you're going to be working late hours of the night. And so just because you become the therapist.
You do.
So instead of that, you create the boundaries because you create the loss. For me, it's like, bro, don't worry about the individual. Let the individual worry about them. Obviously show them genuine care and love, but create the boundary and say, hey, check yourself before you call me.
Right.
Did you work the hours? Did you have a good attitude? Do you have a crazy amount of confidence? You can control the controllables. That's what it is.
That's it.
Control the controllables. Control those. If you did not, now you know where to start. You don't need to call me. I mean, hey, dude, love you. Hey, 5 minutes. Oh, man, sorry it was a tough day. Sorry you didn't work the hours. Have a good attitude. Have a crazy amount of confidence. Sorry it didn't happen. Love you a ton, man. I'll see you tomorrow. We'll get him tomorrow. Right? You got to burn and churn. We got to go tomorrow.
Those are the principles, though, that are going to carry you to be successful through life. And,
Yes.
Focusing on controllables. I mean, we're learning it. We're dealing with things. We're trying to open up new businesses and things like that. And there's, we're getting loans approved and, there's processes. And it's like, hey, let's just put our head down. We're not going to quit. Quit's not in the vocabulary. So we're going to figure it out however long it takes.
Yeah, I want to talk about passion. So I really love that, and that's something that people always refer to me on. They're like, "Man, you're so passionate," you know. And you were talking about like, you know, asking your reps, like, "Did you have passion today?" When you ask them that question, how can you on your thought process? How do you go? Okay, this dude actually has passion, or no, he's not passionate.
Gaslighting you.
No, great question. Honestly, when it comes into individuals, like you can read the room, like, you know, someone's trying to gaslight you or they're just blowing smoke, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And so the passion itself will follow the product, like it's a byproduct of what they've done. When you get a guy that goes out and gets a deal, what's their attitude like? You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
They're on top of the world.
Yeah, ecstatic.
When's the best time to sell a deal?
Right after you sold
that
it.
Right
hour.
after you sold
Yep.
one. Yeah, I know you guys are experienced because
Yep.
that's what experienced managers will always say. So if you can go sell a deal, you get someone who's passionate about it, they're going to talk like, "Hey, I got this deal. I went in 3 more houses down, got another one. Boom, nailed it." Like, you could read it. In the door to door, it's simple. You can't fake success. It ain't going to work. And he's like, "Oh man, I was passionate. I could go throughout the day." I was like, "Awesome. How passionate are you going to throw? If you go 12
Set
days
should
without a
be
sale,
there.
that passion's going to get tested, boy."
Exactly. Yeah. I definitely agree with that. And I think that's where discipline comes in, you know, because we always say discipline beats motivation, you know. So you can have that passion, but it's easy whenever you just got to sell and everything's all almighty, you know. But whenever, you know, you're in the ditch, what are you going to do at that moment?
So that was, and I'm glad you actually segued that, because when you have passion, people always think like, let's just yell at each other and get motivated. It's like, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the passion. Like, if you got the discipline, you wake up each morning with a schedule. So for me, it's like, I'm going to get up in the morning. I'm going to do my stretching routine. I'm going to go, like, I have this mapped out. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to get a workout. And after that, I'm going to get my meal. After that, I'm going to do my studies. Like, I'm going to make sure to read my books or do my journalings. After that, I'm going to do a role play. I do not go to correlation without one role play done with my roommate.
Yep.
From there, I'm going to get in there and if someone asks a question, my hand's always up. If we're going to do role plays, I'm always doing it. Right? As soon as we get to the car, either meditating, I'm listening to a book, or we're doing role plays, getting out the doors. As soon as I get on the doors, I'm running to that first door, or I'm doing my triggers. And triggers is another training that I do, and I think it's incredible to do it, and everyone should have their own.
Yep.
But you know what I mean? It's like, you have to be passionate about how dedicated you are. Your schedule, guard it. Like, if you've had the best week of your summer, best week of your career, go back and articulate, write down what you did every hour of that week, that day, right?
It's funny you say that.
Yeah, replicate it.
Anytime I fall back on if I see a slump, if I can, you know, you feel a slump coming in my region or in my office as a market owner and myself as a closer or knocker, I always just go back to doing what I was doing in my successful
It's always the
months.
basics.
And for me, my cheat code is I'm like, I got to get somebody in my house. As soon as I get somebody in my house, it's back to day one.
Yeah.
I've got to teach somebody from scratch. But it's you're right about going back to those successful days.
Yeah, and I think it's very crucial for the listeners to understand, because this is something that myself, I fight all the time. You know what I mean? I would assume y'all do as well, is that even when you master that routine or you find that structure that you have to have, like, it's easy to do it on the first week. It's easy to do it on the second week. You might not even see the results right then. You know what I mean? But you have to be able to sustain that for a long period of time before you get the results. And it's very easy to fall off of that track. But I always say the difference between the goods and the greats are people that can minimize that gap. You know what I mean? If you fall off of your routine, look at Major League Baseball players, right? They bat 300 and they're in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
But you bat 250, you might not be in.
That's
you know,
right.
And that's
You might not get a contract.
Yeah, you might not even get a contract, and it's such that little bit of difference. But it's being able to recognize it sooner than later. That way, that you don't have that big gap to your success.
It's just, everything is fundamentals. Like, when I've got tons of friends in the industry. I've talked to tons of managers. Everybody wants to portray like they've got the secret sauce. The older you get in this industry, the more that everyone starts to realize, like, bro, just do the fundamentals.
It's the same.
That's
yeah.
it. It's like anything in life. Like, we don't need to recreate the wheel. We just need to work hard. Work the hours we've got. Do the attitude. Like, make sure that you're on. Like, keep the main thing, and keep it basic. This ain't a hard job. It's mentally stressful because we make it stressful. Once you realize that it's not about your product that you're pitching, but the experience of the customer, the whole paradigm changes. And so this is one thing I'll tell my guys is, change your expectations of life to appreciation, and your whole world turns upside down.
That's right.
So to dive into it, it's like you wake up and you're like, all right, I'm going to wake up, I'm going to go do the gym thing. I'm going to, listen to James, and I'm going to read, I'm going to do a role play. And then I'm going to go out and I'm going to go sell 3 deals, 10 deals, 5, whatever it is. And then you bagel the day, you suck. And you're like, oh man, I didn't do it. Well, today sucks. I'm going to let my emotions get the best of me and I'm going to pout the rest of the day. It's like,
self-sabotage comes right
it's
after
like,
that.
No. Just because you did that agenda doesn't mean you automatically get to have that success. You got to wake up. You got to wake up.
Mm-hmm.
Be grateful for that.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Like, you get to go to a correlation and learn and grow and get stretched. Be grateful for that. You get to go knock on doors and meet strangers. Be grateful for that. You get to learn about somebody. Be grateful for that. If you help someone in anything and you get paid for it, that's a byproduct.
I feel like I was so blessed to listen to a podcast, and I wish I knew what it was from, but it was just one line that stuck with me. And it was that if you wanted to be a millionaire, you have to change the lives of millions of people. And in that aspect of it, when I came into door to door, I was like, the people I bring into the company, I'm changing their lives. Like, I get to help them see financial freedom, and then on the alternative, as a door-to-door salesman, I'm like, we're not paying conventional costs for advertising. We are helping these homeowners. And that was where it's like both sides of this industry. That's my perspective. I'm helping do for others rather than do for me. Yeah. And I feel like that's where I found my purpose at personally.
I do want to dive into this a little bit as far as like your mindset. So obviously you built up to, through the ranks with the company that you're with, from a sales rep all the way up to the president. Every time that you did get a promotion, was your mindset always on the next promotion, or what was your thought process on that?
No, and it's a great question. As soon as I got into it, like I have like imposter syndrome. Like even now, like I've been 5-year president and I'm like, I shouldn't be in this position. Like it's because I'm grateful to have such good people around me that I work with that I'm like, dude, they're way better than me. Like they should be running this thing, not me. But I have a devout mentality that whatever chair I'm sitting in, I want to respect it to the best of my ability. Like, as the president of sales, like I don't take it lightly. And sometimes I make mistakes all the time. And like, especially when I was new in this, it's like, okay, do I need to be like commandeering? Do I need to, do I need to be militaristic? Do I need to be, how do I set up my culture? How do I operate with people? What are the expectations? Like I would put so much effort into my events or my speeches or my trips or my, all the trainings that I would do. And I would overwhelm myself. And I still subject to this day where it's like, I want to provide such a good value. And I know that my education, my experience, my resume can show that I can provide an incredible, intrinsic value to people when they come and learn and grow and build, but regardless of where I'm at or what they're doing. But I guess I'm stumbling over my words on this just because you've got me thinking now on this.
Well, the reason I ask that is because, in my experience, that's something that I always do is I'm always like, okay, I made this accomplishment. Now I'm looking forward to the next thing. And obviously I have to remind myself is to be where my feet are. You know what I mean? Be process oriented, not results, So I'm always, okay, what is the process for me to get that achievement?
Well, I think and I was saying is I want to do as much as I can. I get lost sometimes in the weeds. So I'm glad you brought that up, but where it's like, and I get a new promotion. It's like, I want to do it so well that I start working in the business, not on the business, because I feel like I need to earn my stripes again. I need to go through and work on it. And so it's always tough for me to kind of snap myself out of it. But once I've done that, and now I've done it so many times and I've been able to get on a higher level, I can look at some of these other rungs of the bell, right? And other positions and just be like, okay, hold on. Get back to the basics.
It probably does help with staying in the industry as well.
Sitting for that long, it's different. You know what I mean? It's like it's hard to keep working for somebody and working with somebody for that long and still be buddies.
That was the only thing that we've talked about so far that we've had. I would say I've had a different perspective on from this whole conversation is that I get into position and like even at regional, we don't even have the next position, but I'm trying to create that thing. I'm so ready to get done with regional. Like it's almost like I can't plant I don't want to plant my feet in a position.
It goes back to a mindset I have is like, I want to be uncommon amongst uncommon people.
Sure.
You know, the second that I become common is the second that, okay, I need to be to the next spot. You know what I mean? To where I just want to continue to grow. So, but I do think that it's always comes back to being process oriented. You know what I
Sure.
mean? Don't always focus on the results. Just focus on doing the little things, and the big things will follow up with you.
Yeah, I mean that's going to be it's a good checklist that you can have that just kind of puts it into perspective. And so like for being a regional, being in those positions, like want to create like more of a vice president, what you do and what anybody would do is I would give them advice is how do you provide the most amount of value that you're never going to get paid for? Because every level of leadership, you will always do more and get paid less. That's one constant that followed me throughout my entire career. Is I currently I get paid way less than what some of my top guys are doing. And I've worked 40 hours a week plus travel 20 plus weeks out of the year. Like I'm busy. My wife is like, when does the end? Like, what are we doing? I got 2 babies at home, 1 on the way. And she's like, I'm a single parent sometimes. I'm like, I love you so much, sweetheart. I truly thank you for being patient with me. But it's with leadership, you got to understand that when you win, your people win. When you lose because the buck starts and stops with you. Everybody wants to point fingers when they're not doing very well. And you got to understand that, take that on the chin. So you got to create a system and process of like, what's my value proposition to them that they're able to win and grow where more people can be like, all right, cool. Dakota Cotton, like you guys are the ones that we want in charge of the entire organization because what you've done for your people, we can replicate that. We can build it. We can grow it. Here's a system that we can do to make the entire company, our entire ecosystem better. That's how you start gaining. And then once you get the opportunity up there, I have no doubt in my mind that you guys will get in that opportunity, get in that position. Once you do that, then all of the insecurities come flowing back in. Maybe they don't. They did for me, whereas like insecurity comes like, holy cow, all right, this is what I got to do. Here's my system. Here's my process. Let's get into it. Let's start working hard. And you're like rededicate and just recommit back to your people. But it always comes back to the key principle. What is the value I'm bringing?
Yep. Yeah, well, cool deal, man. Well, I think it's definitely a lot of good information. One last thing I do want to follow up before we wrap this up. So, one thing about us is the first time we ever saw door to door was when we started with Performance Windows, and I think it's really incredible. We got our first booth at Door to Door Con, which we're ecstatic about. You know, we literally cannot wait to do it. We already have it planned out on how we're gonna market it and all that. So, what would you say to the door-to-door industry as far as like the growth that is to come as a whole? Because you've been a part of it for 15 years.
Wow. I mean, like as door to door in its infancy, like it started in the maybe late 90s, early 2000s. Like truly, I mean, but you've got like Cutco and Kirby
Right.
and the traveling book salesmen, that type of thing, but it didn't really start picking up until then.
Yeah.
The model is now not so taboo, it's proven. So you can have such a direct effect on your company's bottom line by doing door to door. Cause it's a simple equation. It's how many people can I get in front of? How many products can I push out and make sure that the commissions and that company size, like that you're not over leveraging on the offering you give to the customers. But 3 things, I think, as long as companies can understand this, it doesn't matter AI, technology, whatever, like people are always going to call, but that human interaction, you're never going to be able to replace. But if you can have a good product, a good price, and a good service, very rarely do all 3 companies have all 3. But if you can figure out how to do that, put yourself in door to door, and I will tell you this, you will have a multi-million-dollar business. It's incredible.
Sky's the limit. 100%. Well, heck yeah. You got any last words?
No, yeah, we really appreciate you for coming on and good insight because it's kind of the route we're taking right now. So it's
Yeah, well, I think, you know, I met you at Door to Door Con, and that's something that me and him are, you know, like I said, we're new to the industry. We've only been in with 3 years. So our involvement with the door to door industry is something that we want to just keep elevating with. And it's just a testimony to us as far as like how much door to door has changed our lives, changed our families' lives, and the hundreds of people that we were able to bring from Louisiana and, you know, come up underneath us to where they're able to change more lives. So the door-to-door industry is a skill set that I say that everybody needs to experience. It's kind of like we were laughing because he's went through the Army and everything and went through boot camp and all that. So we always call our 2-month training that's our boot camp. You know what I mean?
For the industry.
Yeah,
It's
for
the
the
rite of
industry.
passage, you know?
It
It's kinda
is.
like you have to
Hey,
do it.
trauma bonding's a real thing.
It
Yep.
is.
You got to let them go through the trauma.
Exactly. So, but we really appreciate you coming on. We're excited. We're super excited to be a part of the door-to-door industry and to grow with it and provide as much value as we can to the industry to help grow it as well. So, would there be any last things that you would like to say to our audience?
No, I really appreciate being on here. Just love talking about the community and how we can build and grow it. And I think that the more positive conversations like this that we have, the more, advice is free, but experience is earned. So the more that we can help everybody get the better idea of like, this isn't just the sweet and simple golden path. You got to earn it. This is for the 1% of the 1%. If you think you're that, come join us. Come talk to us.
Yeah. Heck yeah. And you can also find him at Chief James on Instagram.
You know it. Chief James 28. Come find me.
Chief James 28. So, hey, but we appreciate all of you watching. I'll say once again, the door-to-door community has changed my life as well as Cotton's. So I can tell you right now, if you want to take that leap of faith into the door-to-door industry, you can reach out to me or Cotton or reach out to Chief James on Instagram, and we would be glad to share our story with you and be able to help you change your life as well. So we appreciate you watching, and we'll catch you next time.